Hello everyone, I am Kritika Tank from 6th semester Bhaskara. Today I am going to be presenting on the topic built-in template tags in Django, which is a web development framework in Python. The first built-in tag reference is auto-escape. This controls the current auto-escaping behavior. This tag takes either on and off as an argument, which determines auto-escaping is an effect inside the block. When auto-escaping is effect, all variable context has HTML escaping applied to it before placing the result onto the output, but any filter that has been applied. This is equivalent to the manually applying the escape filter to each variable. The only exception are variables that are already marked as safe from escaping, either by the code that are populated by the variable or because it has the save or escape filter applied. By default, Django auto-escape variable is used to prevent cross-site scripting (XSS) attacks. However, you might want to disable auto-escaping for some cases. In this example, the content of raw HTML is rendered as HTML because auto-escaping is turned off within the auto-escape off block. As we can see, we have template.html here, and we also have views.py. And in the output.py, we have the HTML as it is in the template.html. Here's the same example with auto escaping turned on, which is the default behavior in Django. In this case, the content of raw HTML is escaped, so the HTML tags are displayed in plain text and not rendered as HTML. As we discussed earlier, if you want to render HTML but you still want to keep auto escaping on for other parts of the template, you can use the save filter. In this example, the save filter marks raw HTML as safe, so it renders as HTML even though auto escaping is on for the rest of the template. The next built-in tag reference is block. This defines a block that can be overridden by a child template. The block tag in Django template is used to define a block of content that can be overridden by child template. This is useful in creating a base template that other templates can inherit from and customize. The base templates defines the basic structure of the HTML page. Contains several blocks, titles, heads, navigation, content, footer that can be overridden by child template. The child template inherits from the base.html using extends base.html, overrides the title, header, content, and footer blocks with custom context. The nav bar block is not overridden, so it will use the default content from the base.html. The extends tag signals that this template extends a parent template. This tag can be used in two ways. Extends base template. With this code, use literal value base template.html as the name of the parent template to be extended. Extend variable uses the value of variable. If the if the variable evaluates to a string, Django will use that string as the name of the parent template. If the variable evaluates to a template object, Django will use that object as the parent template. Next built-in tag is comments. Comments ignore everything between comments and end comments. Then we have filters. They filter the content of variables through various filters. Filters can also be piped through each other's. They can have arguments just in variable syntax. First off, outputs the first variable passed that is not false. Outputs nothing if all the past variables are false. For example, first of var1, var2, var3. This is equivalent to the following. If var1, then var1 is printed. Else, if var2, then var2 is printed. Else, if var3, then var3 is printed. Then you end all of the three ifs. You can also use a literal string as a fallback value in case all the past variables are false. Now here we have the most common built-in tag which we use is for. For loops over every item in an array. For example, to display a list of athletes provided in athlete list, we will use unordered list tag that is UL for athlete in athlete list, li that is list item, athlete.name, li closed, and for unordered list tag close. You can loop over list in reverse by using for object in list reverse tag close. If you need to loop over a list of lists, you can unpack the values in each sublist into variable individuals. For example, if your content contains a list of XY coordinate points, you could use the following output of the point. For x, y in points, there is a point at x, y, and for. This can be useful if you need to access the items in a dictionary. For example, if your content contains a dictionary value, the following would display the key and values of the dictionary. For key, values in dictionary.items, key colon values, and for. There are various variable available inside the for loop. That is for loop.counter, for loop.counter 0, for loop.reverse counter, for loop.reverse counter 0, for loop.first, for loop.last, for loop.parent loop. All of them have different functions. The tag can take an optional empty clause that will be displayed if the given array is empty or could not be found. The preceding is equivalent to but shorter and cleaner and possible faster than the following. Else, like writing else statement and writing empty. Empty is faster than writing else. The if tag. The if tag evaluates a variable, and if that variable is true, the content of the block are the outputs. If athlete list, number of athlete list length, else no athletes, and if the preceding code, if athlete list is not empty, the number of athletes will be displayed by the athlete list length variable. As you can see, if the tag can take an optional else clause, that will be displayed in the test phase. If tag does not allow and or clause within the same tag because of logic of errors, ambiguity. If tag does not allow and or clause within the same tag because the order of logic would be ambiguous. If you need to combine and or to do advanced logic, you need to nest if tags. Multi-use of same logical operators are fine as long as you use the same operator. For example, if athlete list on the couch list or parent list or teacher list. If changed. Checks to see whether a value has changed from the last iteration of a loop. The if change tag is used within a loop. It has two possible uses. Checks its own rendered content against its previous state and only displays the content if it has changed. For example, this displays a list of days, only displaying the month if it has changed. The second possible use is if a given variable checks whether the variable has changed. For example, the following shows the date every time it changes, but only shows the hour if both the hours and date have changed. The if change tag can also take an optional else clause that will be displayed if the value has not changed. If equal outputs the content of the block if two arguments equal each other. As in the if tag and else clause is optional, the argument can be hard-coded string. It is possible to compare an argument only to the template variable or string. You cannot check for equality within Python objects such as true or false. If you need to test whether something is true or false, you can use the if tag instead. include loads a template and renders it with current context. This is a way of including other templates within a template. The template name can either be a variable or hard-coded quote string with either single quote or double quote. This example include the content of the template foo/bar.html. This example includes the content of the template whose name is contained in the variable template name. URL returns an absolute URL matching a given view function and optional parameters. This is a way to output links without violating the DRY principle by having to hardcode URLs into your template. This example includes the content of the template foo/bar.html. This first argument is the path to the view function in the format package.package.module function. Additional arguments are optional and should be comma separated values that will be used as position and key arguments in the URL. All arguments required by the URL config should be present. For example, suppose you have a view app, view client, whose URL config takes a client ID. Here, client is a method inside view files, view.py. The URL config line might look like this. In this app's URL config is included into the project's URL config under a path such as this. You can create a link to this view in this template. The template tag will output the string client/client123. These were the built-in tags discussed in the presentation. Thank you.